Hey everybody, this is Madmaxed with another raid video, and today we're going to talk about the most common mistake that people make in the game. Alright, so most of it is about gear, and everybody will chase after champs, and they'll try to get this champ that does this phenomenal thing. And there are some really great champs in here that are way better than other champs are. But there are some champs that are just, it's all about your gear. And people don't understand that. I mean, if you're getting beat in arena, it's because your speed's usually too low. I mean, there are some tanky teams out there that can really tank like crazy. But after you played this game for about a year, and I've seen people play it for a year and they still don't understand the basics of gear, and they don't understand what they're looking for. Arena, you need to be extremely fast. I mean, you need to have like 320, 330 speed. I've seen people even higher speeds than that. I mean, they get triple rolls and all their speed gear. And that is an amazing thing when you're that fast, because you're going to go first because of the speed. And once you go first, and you've got people like Arbiter that manipulates like turn meter, and she's sitting there, increasing the turn meter by 30%. Well, that's speeding everybody else up by 30%. And then she goes in, and then after that, you can follow it up with another one that's manipulate turn meter, like High Tran or like Armstrong. And Armstrong, when you look at him, he does time compression. He does 15%, same thing that High Tran does. But it grants an extra turn, and it also lowers the 15% down on the enemy. And then he has that, the next turn is going to be that 60% decrease defense. And a 60% decreased defense is huge, but you got to be fast. Now, what people don't get about champs are, there are three types of champs in this game. And I've seen everybody go in and they'll put an attack percentage chest on an HP champ, or they'll put a flat stat chest piece on them. Alright, let's look at his skills. His skills are HP based. That means his damage is based on the amount of hit points he has. The more hit points he has, the more damage he does. More attack he's got, doesn't do any more damage. So putting attack on an HP champ is a total waste. It does nothing for you at all. And it's not like putting a defense on an HP champ, because defense actually keeps you from dying. It mitigates the damage you take. But an attack on an HP champ has no effect whatsoever. And I've seen people go in and, like, with their chest piece, see, he's got an HP 50%, probably would like to find a 50, a 6-star. But, I want the speed and I need the accuracy. I mean, there are other things to consider when you're putting pieces on a champ. But the main thing is, what we're going over here is, like, you're looking for speed, of course. He's got 218. That's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. But you're looking for speed. You're looking for, like, if they've got debuffs. And, he's got a lot of debuffs. I mean, she does. So you want to go in, and you've got to have enough accuracy. 285, that's plenty until you're like in Doom Tower above 50, and then that's not going to work, because you're going to need more accuracy than that even. But like for a dungeon that's level 20, usually dungeons, for the debuffs to work, you can figure 10 accuracy per level. So you only need 250 for all the dungeons, because 25 is the max dungeon level. So she's always going to be able to sit down and apply debuffs, usually, unless the wrong color affinity. Well, she's void. She's not the wrong color, so she's got plenty for all the dungeons. Now, the resist just helps you from getting debuffs on you. But now you want to get the crit rate up and the crit damage up. The more crit damage you got, the more damage they do. I mean, the crit damage scales a lot better than the attack, or in this case, the HP does. So you have to, but what you want to do is you want to eventually get out of a crit rate glove and get into a crit damage glove. Like when you look at some of my champs, that one has a crit damage. And yeah, his crit rate's not really high enough, but he's usually paired with like when I'm in Doom Tower with Bad Alcazar, and Bad Alcazar raises the crit rate by 25%. And even though he's at 61%, that gives you 80. That gives you 87. So that's 86, so that's pretty close. It's not bad. I mean, his crit rate does need to go up, and I'll probably work on that, finding some other pieces, but you got to get the stuff down in the other stats. See, that's how you get it up. You have to get the substats up. I didn't get a lot of rows in the substats for the crit rate. And once you can get some double rows in there, you can do a lot better. So that one got 0. Now, but remember, when you're doing a champ, HP champ, they get HP chest pieces. Every champ gets a speed boot because speed's so important. You want your speed as fast as you can get it. Now, then you've got a defense champ. And I just finally got this one up and started getting it geared right, but I mean, Unbowed is really great in Fire Knight. I have to, it's that turn meter manipulation is just wonderful. Now, he's got 2 hits. Once he's booked out, it's 100%, so he's going to lower the turn meter down by 30% every time he goes. You make him really fast in Fire Knight, and he's going like 2 or 3 times to his 1. I mean, he's keeping that turn meter down for you. Him and Cold Heart will keep her and Cold Heart will keep the turn meter down where he never even shields again. This is a great champ for that. But look at his skills. What does his skill say? His skill says defense. So you got to put the defense on him. Don't put any attack on him. Attack on the defense does absolutely nothing at all, because all of his damage is based on how much defense he's got. Now, when he has more crit rate and more crit damage, yeah, he's going to do more damage. But his base attack is all based on defense. And as you look, speed boots, defense piece, almost 200 speed. You try to get the speed up. I'd like to get out of the crit rate glove, and I'd like to get him into a crit damage, and I'd like to get some of the other crit rates up on him, on some of the other parts on her, but, it is what it is. I mean, you only got so much gear and so many coins. Now, then, you get into your attack champs, okay? Now, Ninja is by far the best boss attack champ in the game right now. And Ninja can do massive damage. Now, Ninja, what does the skill say? It says attack. Now, he has debuffs. He's got an HP burn, which you want. You want the decreased defense, and you want the freeze. So you want the accuracy up. I'd like to have even more accuracy, but you can't get everything and everything. So he's got 91% crit rate. That's pretty good. Usually I got Bad L in front of him, so he's got over 100%. And he's got 220% crit damage. He's got 208 speed, so he's going, he's way, the Nightmare Clan boss is only 170, so he's outdoing that. And then you've got Arbiter that I usually use in there for that 30% speed boost, increase the attack. His attack is almost 400,000. I mean, almost 4,000. It's, it's 3,860 68, so it's almost the 4K mark. And I've seen people with better, but still, those are some decent stats. And you'll look at this gear and think, man, this looks like, and when you're first starting out, you think, man, this looks like God gear. Well, I mean, it's not compared to some of the people I've seen. But it's still good gear, but it takes a long time to farm it. And, you have to farm gear. And, the relentless gear, you want him in because of one reason, and that is his passive. Once he cycles through, he gets, after using these skills 10 times on the clan boss, he's going to sit down and he's going to have 100% more attack. He's going to have 25% more crit damage. Now, the relentless gear, sometimes he'll go 2 and 3 times, so you're just getting him up, his damage up a lot quicker having relentless on. And he's doing more damage because he's taking more, because he's doing more hits. So relentless does real well with him. I mean, it's what I've used for months on him. But getting a 60% attack chest is not easy. And then I've got crit damage gloves on him. I've got a 6-star speed boot on him. I've got a good helmet on him. And then, of course, the other 2 pieces are the ones I forged. But he's based on attack. You need to get your nukers especially. The ones that do the major damage. You really want to get them out of the crit rate gloves and into crit damage gloves, because they're the ones doing the major damage for you. Like the defense guys, they do some decent damage. I mean, they'll do 100k worth of damage and stuff, but they're not going to do 700-800k like Ninja does a hit. So getting them out of the crit rate gloves is not as important to start out with as it is to get like Ninja or Jimbo. Jimbo's in Jimbo is in a crit damage glove, and his crit rate's lower than I'd like, but he's got but he still hits extremely hard. He's a good nuker. And so when you're looking, and your nukers are always your attackers. So when you're looking at them, you're thinking, okay, if this guy is really a great nuker, then I need to try to get, the crit rate from the other artifacts, from the subsets. And, of course, I don't have it up high enough on him. I'd like to get it higher, but, and eventually when I work a set of pieces in that does that, I'll get them up. But right now, he's got 223 crit damage, and he's got, 61% crit rate, and 25 more with Elkazard, so he's pretty well, he's a good hitter now. But just remember, when you're looking at champs, remember you're looking for defense guys. You're looking for your substats to be defense even. In this case, I got speed, crit rate, accuracy, because you need the accuracy for the debuffs. But see, there's a 13% more defense because of that one. There's more defense on this one. So you're looking for substats or defense. You're not looking for the attack ones. Like this one was blue, so this one showed up later. Wasn't one I chose, it just shows up. But like this one, these were speed boots, and they both had defense in them. That's the reason I chose them. And that upped his defense quite well. That's what you're looking for defense. For HP guys, you're looking for HP for substats. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at more HP. And, and they do more damage because of that. But getting attacks in them, that's not going to do anything for you. But then by the same token, what you're looking for these guys is the crit rate, crit damage. And in the crit rate, crit damage scales better. But if you get an attack, the attacks, it also scales their attack. It helps them do more damage. But the attack doesn't do more damage on the HP of the defense guys. But that's the basis of gears. Now, there are exceptions to gear. I mean, I've got videos of Faye, and I try to tell you, tank her out, even though she's an attack and she hits really hard. Why? Because you want to keep her alive for the clan boss and for Spider. That's what you want. You don't want to rely on, heavy attacks for her. You want her alive because you want those debuffs she's got. She's got some of the best debuffs for clan boss in the game it is. And then Bad Alcazar, he does not have but 2 attacks. And well, he's only really got 1. He's got Malice. Now Malice doesn't even count as an attack. It doesn't do anything to the other guys. It just places poisons over them. It doesn't actually attack them. So the poison doesn't go off until they take a turn. So it's not actually an attack. It does this continuous heal, but the poisons stack and can do major damage. His Dark Spear does very little damage. So you don't care about his damage. What you care about is keeping him alive. Because when you keep him alive, he's throwing, and you put reflex gear on him. And so you put a bunch of HP and a bunch of defense on him, but he's a rare exception to the game. And he can solo Dragon because he can go through, and what he does is he keeps applying poisons and stacks all the poison up. Well, after they take 2 or 3 rounds, they're going to die. In the meantime, he's got all these heals on him, so he heals himself back completely, and he can solo the dragon really easy doing this. But for the most part, those are rare exceptions. But for the most part, what you want is, like I said, for the attack guys, you want the high attacks, high crit rates, high crit damage. For the defense guys, high defense, high crit rate, high crit damage, and speed. And anybody that debuffs, you got to get their accuracy up. HP guys, HP has to be high. You want your speed up, your crit rate up, your crit damage up, and if they debuff, you want the accuracy up. Now, some people don't have any debuffs. If they don't worry about accuracy. You don't have to put any on them. You can actually put a resist on them so they don't actually take damage. But, that's a basics what you're looking for. And, like when you're looking at getting your accuracy up, you want an accuracy banner. You want speed in if you can find it. And, and if you got an HP guy and you do get defense like this one had in it, but it had the speed there, it was an epic piece, it's okay for the defense because it's going to mitigate the damage for you. But, this would have been better with an HP stat, an HP percentage one, but I didn't have one. That 6-star that gives you like almost 100 accuracy. You almost always want a crit damage, amulet on anybody. And then if it's an HP guy, he gets an HP. And you want the HP, you really want the HP percentage to be in there. And but I took the one that had the defense because this was the 6-star HP one I had at the time. And those are what you're looking. And if it's a defense guy, then you're going to put a defense ring on. Of course, I don't think this is actually that because I think it's defense, but it gives a 5% shield too. And I would rather have the defense down in the bottom of this thing, but it didn't have it. But there's not a lot of, and it may show up on the 4th one, but anyway, that 5% shield really helps. Now, for an attack guy, I think this is maybe a defense, but it's because of the 5% shield, and it's got the attacks in here, which is 16%. And 16%, and when I got a roll in this thing, and his attack is that's as much as the attack up on the top is going to be anyway. And I might have got an attack down here in the bottom and all that, but with that 5% shield, it still helps a lot. And but most of the time, if you look, my attack guys are going to have attack rings as the main stat. Even though, and you want that attack percentage. See, I wanted the 2 rows to go into this, so he would do even more damage, but it didn't go that way. The rows, you just got to get lucky with. But anyway, that's the overview of gear, how you gear a guy. And, and people, they just have trouble with gear. They have trouble understanding gear. And, I don't have high accuracy on him. The only thing he can do, he can steal a buff. So, you know, I don't have really high enough gear on Jimbo to help steal a lot more buffs, but, you know, he does so much damage, it's unreal. And, you know, but he's got, you know, what, 3,900, you know, attack. He's got, you know, when him paired with a bad Alcazar, you know, he's up to almost 90% crit rate with 223 crit damage. That's a lot of damage. And of course, if I had my Great Hall up higher, I'd have a lot better stats. I just don't. But anyway, that's the basics of how gear should work. And I mean, you know, and when you watch all these guys with all these videos, and they're going to show you all this stuff, and they've been spending money, been playing forever, and you know, and yeah, their Great Hall is maxed out, mine's not. I mean, you know, that makes a big difference. And you know, and they'll talk about all this god gear. Well, my gear, a lot of it is just about as good as their gear is. My champs are as good as their champ. What I don't have is their Great Hall too. And you know, they need to fix that. But anyway, it's the basics of gears, guy. And this is how you gear a champ, and this is how you gear your champs in raid. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel and give me a like and post some comments about what you want to see.